Welcome. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thank you. And the Huerfano County Board of County Commissioners meeting for January 23rd, 2024 is now in session. The first item is the approval of the agenda.
Commissioners, just one change that we're going to do the public review report first before the Tremont Park conversation.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spurleader.
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Adriana.
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Consent agenda.
Commissioner, on the agenda for today, I have the meeting minutes from January 2nd, 2024.
Fourth.
Second.
It should be second.
Cameron Gonzalez, regulations from the Sheriff's Office. Maurice Chief, regulations from the Sheriff's Office. Sandra Valdez, Sir Guy Tolmans, Connor Ward, Kevin Archuleta, Carlton Croft, Nick Fisher, Jeff Byland, and Cheryl Pacheco. All of their pink sheets for layoff and severance packages. Promotion for Anthony Ludenbill, to remove the designation of interim public works director, and Dustin Weber, a green sheet to designate Lester Berry interim public works director, and a green sheet for Department of Human Services salary restructuring.
A motion to accept motion or consent agenda is read.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. I would just like to say, and I know that we have a lot of other employees on the item O, the Department of Human Services salary restructuring. I know that there's issues, some concerns about that. I would just like everyone to know that two things. Number one, that's 80% state money. And number two, the restructuring includes laying off 3 people that will not be replaced. And the total of that restructuring is less money than replacing those 3 people. So it's less money. It's more money individually for some people, but it's less money overall in that department. So,
And 3 fewer positions, but those job duties were redistributed.
I just wanted the other employees to understand that. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spurleader.
Yes.
Commissioner Adriana.
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We have public comments and we have several people signed up. We're going to have an appointment. So if anybody that wants to just be part of the appointments for Guitar Mountain Park, you can either speak now for public comments or when we get to that appointment, please. So first on the list is Chris Smith.
I'll wait.
Okay. Michelle Lapel.
I'll wait.
Nick Ferris. Nick, please state your name and address for the record.
Okay, Nick Ferris, and what else?
Your address.
P.O. Box 1224, Welsomer, Colorado 81089, and my physical address is 22538 US Highway 160, west of the hospital, right next to the vet clinic.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, we appreciate what you guys do. We know it's not hard, easy being county commissioner, right? It's a hard job. And we come here with peace, no malice. And so I have written this letter here, kind of explaining where we're coming from. That's Rod and I and a bunch of other people. It's not just me, okay? So January the 23rd, 2024, RN Enterprises and Associates, that's us, feels that the bid process released by Huerfano County in early December is not a good proposition for the taxpayers. This is our 5th attempt in person to amicably engage the county to meet with us to engage in number 1, solving the gross, disgusting, rampant, illegal dumping, and number 2, to show the county how to make the WTS extremely profitable. We do not understand the disconnect, and we feel that you have pre-chosen someone to take over the WTS, which is not beneficial to taxpayers. We can meet all of your requirements. Peace. So really, the first time I came here, which is actually the second time, which was in August of 2022, I was hoping we could start like a little committee or something where we could start talking about all this stuff. John and I discussed at one time before he was commissioner, we need some fencing, we need some signage, we need a group effort from the community to stop these poor people that most of them are the poor people that want to cause trouble in the community, and they need to be re-educated. They need to have free dump passes. They need to be fined. They need to be caught. They need all of that stuff. But it's a process. It's not an overnight thing. It's something we need to talk about. And the same goes on for the transfer station. Rod and I have a lot of experience in recycling and in the business itself. We'd like to set up a committee where we can sit down and talk about all this stuff and move forward with it. And that's all we're here to try to say. And when the bid process was put out, he and I had come in here, we felt kind of slammed, because then all of a sudden we had to meet all those requirements, which we can meet, by the way, but it seemed like overnight. And so we're just here to talk about it. And that's what I came in to suggest. And I'll leave a copy of this letter for everybody to review. And that's it. That's all I have to say. So I'd like to get with you guys when you have time and see what you think we can come up with. It's a small community and we're all in it together. So I appreciate your time and the job you're doing, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Rod, Higginbottom?
Just said it all.
Okay. Jim Littlefield.
Jim Littlefield, 58 Cedar Ridge, Cuchara. I was asked either early last year or late the year before to serve on the Airport Technical Committee, I believe it's called, out at the Spanish Peaks Airfield. Didn't really understand why. I usually rode in the back of planes, but anyway, was glad to help if I could. And we focused on the 10-year plan redo and couple of meetings and all that stuff. But each time I would attend or see some of the folks that had hangars out there, I'd hear about some of the things that they'd hope could be fixed. And of course, our focus had been on attracting FAA money to do other things out there over the years as part of that 10-year plan. But we want to make sure we take care of the things we have already. And it's been brought to my attention, perhaps you know this, but the water in the pilot's lounge has been off since January 17th. That's not a good situation because you still have pilots. And if any of you have flown general aviation and gone to an FBO at a private airport like that, or municipal airport, that's where you go to the bathroom and do other things. And people are still doing that, but nothing's flushing. So it's becoming a mess. At least put a porta potty or something out there, or you're going to have a mess you're not going to want to deal with. The AWAS system has been out of service for more than 3 weeks. So when you're doing IFR or instrument flight rule approaches to that airport, you call Pueblo for the weather. And we all know 4,000 feet versus ours, the weather can be very different. That's not a good situation. I believe from the technical committee meetings that was put in maybe a year or two ago. I don't know if it was warranted. I don't know what's taken so long to get it fixed, but that probably needs to be resolved. God forbid there be some issue out there because people are either can't get information. Anyway, it just doesn't sound like a safe situation to me. And then I've also noticed, and this was something asked for in the technical committee meetings, and the county responded, they put a courtesy car out there for the pilots when they come in so they can go grab lunch somewhere, which is very common across the country at FBOs. That's disappeared. So those are three things that I'd like the commissioners, I know you're busy with all the budget kerfuffle and all that stuff, but we need to make sure that what we have is attended to. Money was brought in from outside to do those things. If the airport's a loser for the county, and I don't think it is, but if it is, then let's call a spade, turn it back into farmland, get rid of the airport, or let's support it. I know that sounds simplistic, but let's be honest with ourselves and take care of what I would think would be a good asset for the county. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Jim.
I just have a comment. Do you know who oversees the airport at the county level? So you can bring these to them directly so they can be fixed much quicker than waiting till Tuesday.
Well, with the recent changes and stuff that I saw on the agenda, I'm unsure, but I thought it wasn't it Dustin? Dustin, still a person?
Did you ask him about any of these?
No, I have not.
Yeah,
This
that'd
was
be a good place to start.
Brought to my attention, and I thought, you folks ought to know.
Yeah.
Because it's a big deal. Okay?
Thank you.
And I'm happy to call him and talk with him about it. I know.
So if I may,
If you, yes, please.
the courtesy car, if I remember correctly, is being serviced. The AWAS being out of service is new, but there is an issue that we've been resolving with Granite about the phone lines. So I'll check in on that. The water, I didn't realize they've been out for that long, but we're working with the city. For a reason, water is not getting to the meter.
So the meter for that
Is
line is up here by the cemetery.
meter's not spinning. So
But we are aware of all three and they are working on it. But Dustin would be a good liaison to talk to,
So
or
with that-
Carl.
With the cold weather, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a frozen line.
that one's, it should be deep enough where that shouldn't be a problem, but that does seem to make sense. I'm not sure where it could be, though. It could be before the meter or not, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Anyone online with a public comment? Raise your hand, please. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to appointments and public trustee quarterly report. Debbie Reynolds.
Good morning, everybody. A couple things, so I'm gonna make it fast. Okay, my quarterly report is fourth quarter of 2023. I had 3 foreclosures, 2 confirmation deeds, 3 withdrawals. I had an intent to redeem, which got redeemed, and 78 releases. To date, I think I ended up with foreclosure wise, I have to double check, but I ended up with about 20 foreclosures versus a year ago, 2, right? So I have these copies here. Hand out. I just need, John, you need to sign my hand.
Thank you.
Here's one for Carl. And Carl. Okay, so real quick, that's the quarter report of the public trustee's office. I do have a report about this time when I do have taxes that are uncollectible. I have a cancellation report that I need to have you sign in my report, and then I can take them off. And it seems like a lot of, I think the total is 99,430, but the majority is those 2 years from the railroad. Remember?
Yes.
That's fine, it's fine.
Okay.
And so we're taking off the tax road because they'll never be collected because of that bankruptcy stuff.
Okay, one at a time. So the public trustees report, the question I have is, do you see this? I mean, that's a huge increase, 23 over 22. What do you see the trend for 24? Can you tell yet?
I'm this way, the same way. It ain't going down.
But is it because the hold they put due to COVID?
Yes. Yeah, the hold on COVID. And I think there's a moratorium for VA loans right now that I don't know what's going on. So I don't have a lot of VA loans in foreclosure. So something's going on with that, but it's going to probably stay the same. The trend will be the same. And because not too many releases because the interest rate's high.
Sure.
So
Pleasure of the board.
again, for my
Motion to approve the public trustee quarterly report and tax cancellation. I tried to see if he's unmuting or not. So I didn't.
Sorry about that. I was trying to find that. I'd second that.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff,
Yes.
Chairman Bush.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And then one comment for the public, and I don't know if Eric's online, is he online?
Yeah.
From paper?
Carl. Oh,
Eric from paper. Anyway, our tax notices are delayed because we had the whole month delay because the commissioners barely passed the mill levies and all of this because of the legislation. So FYI, tax notice would be sent out hopefully in the next 10 days. Okay, so they're running a little bit behind. And that was statewide.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
same time. Yeah, I'm gonna set that one.
Okay, our next appointment is Guitar Mountain Park, Conjara Foundation, and GoCo. I'm hoping GoCo's on the line. So what I'd like to do, Chris and whoever else, would you guys come up front? There's a microphone up here. You can sit down and.
Quick update on the airport again. I got heard from Justin, they're waiting on a modem, so we replaced a bunch of sensors and the modem didn't come. So we're waiting for that portion of it. And
Did
then-
you hear that? Okay, Jim?
Can't hear.
The sensors have been replaced. We're waiting on modems.
Yeah, the modem should have been in a long time ago. It just hasn't arrived. We're not sure why. We talked to our servicer, haven't gotten an answer yet. And then the car, the battery it died a couple days ago. So they're trying to diagnose why the battery is drained and everything.
Pilot's lounge, no longer. Do you answer that? Yes.
So the answer again, Commissioner, earlier is that the meter wasn't spinning. So we're talking to the city about what's going on with that, but we haven't gotten answers to what's going on, why that's not, why.
Okay. And I was saying, if you had a board bar, some pull in there, it might be worth doing if you think it's going to be extended delay. Just a thought.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, for this appointment, we're going to have a discussion with the Conjara Foundation and GoCo about Guitar Mountain Park. If there's anyone online that wants to participate, I would ask that you raise your hand and be recognized before jumping in. So want to do an introduction on this, Carl, or you want me to, or what do you want to do?
And I can give you a brief introduction.
Sure.
It's just that, so probably about a month or so ago, the Conjara Foundation approached the county with a request to return the mountain park to the Conjara Foundation. The county has sort of been in touch with GoCo back and forth as we've gotten either more input from the Conjara Foundation or questions from the commissioners. We've asked GoCo, Leah, and they don't bring on it, but we've asked GoCo to come and be a part of our meeting today. We have had a RFQ open for an operator of Mountain Park. Actually had that on hold for the last month or so. I've been discussing this, so no real progress has happened on that front.
Okay, and we did get the response from GoCo says that they want to be part of any negotiation for return of the property to the foundation. And I did receive a phone call about other events at the park. So and I like the thought. So I'd really like to have the discussion with the foundation about what would the deed restrictions be to turn the property back over. So I know that one of them is going to be to maintain everything in accordance with GOCO and whatever that agreement looks like. But I think the second thing that I would like to see, and this is just me, there's two other commissioners. I would like to see something in that deed restriction that allows for other operators to come to bring public events to the park. So it wouldn't just be the PSI or PSCC. So that's my thought, Commissioner.
I'm here and happy to listen to the proposals. I think I voiced my concern that I think that the park is in better hands with the county. I think we have opportunities for more funding. I appreciate everything Panadero Ski Corp is doing, and I hope that they continue no matter the direction that it goes. But I think that the park is better suited in the hands of the county than a foundation for many reasons, but really just because that board is ever evolving and ever changing, and it's hard to have one vision when you have different people coming and going. So I appreciate everyone being here, but I definitely would vote for the county to keep the ownership of the park.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Commissioner Sport Leader?
Nothing to add at this time.
Nothing to add at this time.
Nothing to add at this time. Okay. So foundation?
Well, we still have the same position. We would like to see something happening more than what's happened now. And it seems like we're not getting any participation with the county on trying to move forward with the park. But, we just want to make sure that it's going to follow, whatever's going to happen is going to follow the original plan. That's the main thing. So the SE group did an extensive plan, as you were involved in from the beginning. And everybody that I know that's involved in that park wants the same thing. So that's where we are. We're still ready and willing to accept it and ready to stay with the plan.
And so the deed restrictions, we could negotiate with those deed restrictions.
We can negotiate that. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So Panadero Ski Corp is open to working with multiple other entities. I don't know who's interested, but we would welcome someone coming in who wants to do something in the summer with, an adventure park or wants to, a concert promoter who's better experienced at putting on a show than we are. We're not opposed to working with anyone, but we do feel that the Kuchara Foundation is in a better position to run it at this point. We believe that there are people that would donate to a nonprofit that would have a hard time donating to a county. But we're open to just about anything with working with these guys.
Okay. Is there anybody else from the foundation or from the public that wants to contribute? Jim? Name and address, please.
Jim Littlefield, 58 Cedar Ridge, Cuchara. I just want to compliment Panadero Ski Corporation for finally getting off to a good start this winter after we had the 2 feet of snow, and Jeremy Golnick and Mike Williams made a lot of snow at the base to enable the skiing for especially the young people in this county. They've been running the ski bus now for 2 weekends, right? 2 weekends?
Yes.
Packed. Every 10 minutes, 22 people. They're doing great things up there, and it affects and provides opportunities for those kids in our county. Not just kids, a lot of adults up there too. $40. Look at Monarch. Look at some of these other places and what they charge. It's such a good value. There's really good work being done up there. And, I think what they're trying to suggest to you is an excellent opportunity for the county to get something off your plate that you don't have the time or the money to fool with. Opinion. And I sure hope you seriously consider that. Hanging on to stuff just to hang on to it, to me, makes absolutely no sense. Don't get it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so we don't agree. That's okay. So really, Carl, Sport Leader, what I would like to do is give staff direction to develop the deed restrictions or conditions in concert with the foundation. Erica does not agree with that. So Carl, need to know which way you go.
Well, I do believe that a more private entity would be better suited. I do believe that we need to have those restrictions really hammered out because I do believe that there needs to be some more oversight on that in that venue. But I do believe that there's a lot of truth to the fact that people would be able to donate to an entity as opposed to a county. There's a tremendous amount of possibilities there. I think even what Jim had said with the amount of skiing up there being done for a relatively inexpensive fee, that's huge for our community. So in the grand sense, I do believe that I think that it would be better suited to go back, but I think we need to hammer out those with GoCo and make sure that everything is, all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted.
So theme, we have 2-1. So staff direction would be to work towards the deed and the conditions of transfer back to the foundation. We have the extension went until May 1st or May 15th.
May 1st.
May 1st. So we really need to have something in place before then.
So because of the nature of this, can I make a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we wait until next year for the new commissioner to be seated so we can see the vision of the public and the future board.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Mhm.
That motion dies for lack of a second. Is there another motion?
I'd make the motion that we proceed with the finding a staff direction on the how to proceed with that transfer and look at a public option.
Wait a second. I will second that motion. So I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Want to say anything else?
I just think you're missing a great opportunity to drive economy and tourism to our area. The county is much better suited for grant opportunities to work with private entities. I know that this board is tired, but a lot of us aren't. And I think there's great things that could be done in the future. And I feel like you're stripping the community of this opportunity. I feel like if this was for sale, the county should look at purchasing it because we can make it into something great. And it's fortunate that it was given to us. I don't see that participation from the boards that have been in the past, and I don't see that participation from volunteer boards in the future. I think this is a huge mistake. It's frustrating because it's my district and I have little say. And I feel like there's a lot of side conversations where this is already pre-decided, and I'm not really comfortable with that. So that is my piece. I wish you would leave it to the next commissioners so we can regroup and figure it out. But
Well, thank you for that. I would say there was no decision made in advance.
there's always been a decision.
No, well, I have my opinion. I didn't know, I had an idea what Carl's was, but I didn't know for sure.
Sure.
Any other discussion?
I'd just like to say I've had a belief of these type of things from my election, so I've been very adamant on these type of things, public-private partnerships and the like. So I don't think I've changed anything over I was elected on what I believed.
I would also like to add that the state is not giving proper and adequate funding. We are doing layoffs. We are trying to figure out how to survive. And there are many counties that are getting into that private sector. So it's an old school thought and mentality that we shouldn't be taking part in things that can generate income. But I completely disagree. This economy deserves to be stimulated. We deserve opportunities for economic development and tourism. And I think it's a very old school mindset to not look forward to that, especially when we're doing layoffs and can't fund our county. When Road and Bridge is in a $500,000 deficit on January 1st and we don't have a solution, why are we turning away options that could bring tourism to our economy? It makes zero sense. I think you have a comment from the public.
Yeah, please come up, state your name and address for the record.
Jordan Bonicelli, 178 Hill Road, Cuchera, Colorado. The Panadero Ski Corp, they did a wonderful job preparing for this year. They were ready to go. There were some troubles with some things. We understand those things. So I want everybody to know I support them in all of the efforts. I also would support the chair foundations and the county. So I'm not here to create any divide. There is one thing that I don't think individuals are paying attention to. And you guys have an economic plan, correct? It's on your website. I don't know if I have the terminology correct, but it's about creating jobs. It's about filling storefronts. It's about creating an economy here. It's about rate that doesn't exist. Well, up until December 27th of 2021, how many hotel rooms did you have in this county functional?
100 and
47.
yeah, 140, 150 something.
Okay, so then you should have 62 additional rooms now because the hotels that I took over were not operational. So the point of that being is a lot has changed. Cuchera, your fourth economy in Huerfano County is alive, guys. You got paid taxes. We have brought people in. Part of that was with the mountain. But what needs to happen is these two need to come together, or else we're not selling anything. I think it's important right now that there is county backing behind this, because I think there's a lot of big ideas and big steps that need to be taken, and a lot of people ready to show you. And that's why I think the county backing is important, is to build a foundation for what could be up there. The jobs you want to create, everything you need is sitting right there in that valley. And it's the trickle down effect. This is how counties work. This is our hub. This is where everybody has to go through. But skiing, a mountain, concerts, activating that mountain town without changing it. I'm from there. That's my baby. We now are in a position to do this without sacrificing anything. There's nothing anybody can take from people. These people, us, we own it all. And so the opportunity is prime. And the other thing, the other gift this county has been given being that we've been stuck in time. We're in a time lapse here. We're 20 years behind, 30 years behind, and you come into this county and it is now, that is a draw. People are mad at Vail. People do not want to go up I-70. I was up there last weekend. It was a dangerous nightmare. People were stuck up there for 3 days. I guarantee you have about 4,000 people up north right now that are just drooling to come ski somewhere else. And so there are things that can be done. I think there's a lot of catalysts and a lot of changes happened in the past. Since 2021, all this has happened. That you have a fourth economy open. There's a tourism economy because you have places for them to stay. You have places for them to eat. The people up there are happier because there's something to do. You don't have a dead town with no doors open. So I'm in support of everybody. I'm here for the people. That's why I came here to do what we're doing. And I think knee-jerk reactions need to be thought through a little bit more. And I know everyone's thinking knee-jerk reactions. This has taken years and years and years. Well, guess what? I've been watching this thing and waiting for this thing to happen forever. And it's finally got a little bit of legs. And I think it would be a travesty for those to be pulled out. And that includes Panadero Ski Corp being part of the skiing and part of the moving forward, and the people being heard, and the county getting a little bit of just a little bit of empathy for their efforts and what they're dealing with. You know, this is everybody. There's been calls of collusion. My name were included in that. please, I love that because I'll open up everything I have. My books, my phone, you know, I'm here for the people. That's all I want to say. There's been a huge catalyst. I would love the county to release the numbers of change, percentage of growth, release those, the jobs creation. The jobs creation, let's talk about that. Holy cow, the jobs were created. You take Erica's number that was given to her by them up in Denver. We've created 10s, 20s, 30s of thousands of jobs just in the locations I can count that have been open. So, I feel a little bit challenged bringing this into such a sad meeting where people are being laid off. But there's good things coming, and I hope you people are still there listening because there's a future for this county, and it's happening now. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have, we have somebody online, you said? Hold on, Michelle. Online, let's go to online. Where is it?
Ryan?
Ryan?
Thank you very much. I was trying to stay passive. I just want to echo Erica's sentiments there that
Ryan, please
I
state your name and for the record.
oh, excuse me, sorry, Ryan Geese, county resident, 6801 County Road 358. In the few years I've been here, barring the slowdown of the pandemic, it is wonderful to see Huerfano County growing economically with all of the new businesses that are attempting to get started here. It's nice to see, people trying to open up businesses here. It's difficult to do that without the resources or the labor that we're already missing. And I still believe, I'd like to echo Erica, that the control by the county allows far more resources and funding than can privately be done here. Private enterprise is great. I'm all for it. But it's super difficult to take on something as big as a mountain park. I think we've seen that in the struggles. I would also thank you to Mr. Bonicelli. It is, this county is stuck decades behind. And that's beautiful. It's great to be able to drive the roads here and not have crowds. But it is time to either we're going to get buried by the time, or we need to start to catch up to that. The shrinking population here does not allow for tax revenue. It's either raise taxes or encourage people to move here so that we have a larger tax base. And that's my piece. I'd like to echo those things and hope that the Ski Mountain can move forward as an anchor to economy. And hopefully the city of Walsenburg, the development in Gardner, all continue to help Huerfano County grow. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Ryan.
you, Ryan. And I would just like to say, I don't think that ownership by the foundation totally negates county's support. I just don't think that the county is the right entity to make this move forward. I don't think we lose any tourism.
Is anybody priced insurance about the county back?
No.
That might be a good first step.
All right, any other discussion?
I just want to reiterate, I think this is a horrible decision. We're just getting the ball going. We're just getting the momentum. We're having people move in, investing a great deal of money, creating jobs. You haven't even seen what that revenue is going to do. We have restaurants, we have bars, we have dance halls, we have new jobs. And there's a lot of us who want to move that forward and aren't tired. And I just think this is a horrible, horrible decision. So I don't know how many times I can say that, but I'll keep saying it.
Okay. I heard you.
Let you know.
Thank you very much. I have a motion to direct staff to move forward towards developing the conditions. I'm sorry, I forgot Michelle.
Michelle Powell, 214 Valley Vista, Cotera, Colorado. I'm here not only as a citizen, but I am the treasurer of our Parks and Recreation Special District. I'm also sitting on the steering committee for the county in reference to the grant for rural outdoor economic recreation programming and development. And so mainly I'm just here to say that as far as the Park and Recreation District goes, we will be supportive of any efforts that involve any of the parks in our county, but especially the one that is our economic driver for the county. And so we're looking forward to seeing how the plan comes out through the RTAP program, and looking forward to seeing how it is that we can continue to support the mountain park. And because we are a public entity, even though the county may in some fashion step away from having the main responsibility, I think that gives us an opportunity to work together as the special district being a public entity and the county being a public entity to ensure the success of that mountain. Even though none of us may be the ones that own it, I think that public-private partnership can still exist, but just in a different form, as you indicated, through deed restrictions, etc. So I just wanted to make sure that I let you all know that.
Thank you. Okay, so I have a motion and a second to move forward with creating the deed restrictions in concert with the foundation and GOCO for transfer of the mountain park back to private ownership. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andreetta.
Nope.
Commissioner Galusha, Chairman
Yeah.
Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. So guys, I'll send you an email. So it's gonna be to you and me. We'll have a meeting. It shouldn't take long.
Yeah, just let us know when. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Land use recommended update to section 7.
All right, commissioners. On Thursday, January 11th, the planning commission voted to recommend these changes to section 11 of the Huerfano County Land Use Code on matters of state interest. These changes update section 7 to reflect changes in the underlying statute, as well as provide additional clarity around permit requirements and application standards. I'll ask your forgiveness on not having a red line. It's doing this on a regulatory document is fun, so I need some more time on that. So I'll give that to you once we have. I'm assuming that we're going to have a workshop on this, but I presented both options in the cover memo. Whether you would like me to schedule a workshop for us to go over this, or if you want to say, hey, this is good to go, and we're just going to move on and approve these, which I think is Sandy's vote.
I think we need, personally, I would like to see a workshop to have detailed explanations on different aspects of this.
Motion to direct the administrator to schedule a workshop on the purpose or the proposed changes to section 7 of the Huerfano County Land Use Code.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andreetta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, commissioners,
Action items.
moving on to action items. Commissioners, first I have a motion, resolution number 24-13, which I need to make a slight change because of a typo. A resolution appointing Louis Edmondson to the Huerfano County Planning Commission for a term expiring on December 31st, 2026.
I make a motion to, for Louis Edmondson, changing, I'm sorry, I lost that page.
Page 123 of your book.
Sorry. Well, Erica, can you make that? Because I can't find that. And
Make a
so,
motion to approve resolution number 24-13, a resolution appointing Louis Edmondson to the Huerfano County Planning Commission for a term expiring on December 31st, 2026.
I'd second that.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeter,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you a liquor license renewal for the Four Seasons Bar and Grill.
Make a motion to approve the liquor license approval for Four Season Bar and Grill.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeter,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, I have a liquor license for the Tiny Inn.
Motion to approve the liquor license for the Tiny Inn, given there's no issue not to, or reason not to. Thank you.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeter,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. We should have liquor license renewal for the Dog Bar and Grill.
Make a motion to approve liquor license for the Dog Bar and Grill.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Thank you. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeter,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Commissioners, last on the liquor licenses, I have a liquor license renewal for the Walsenburg Golf Association.
Motion to approve the Walsenburg Golf Course liquor license.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Commissioner, you got a hand raised.
D. Sandoval, you would like to speak? Please state your name and address for the record.
D. Sandoval, DEESANDOVAL, 1010 West 27th Street, Pueblo, Colorado. I'm just curious about the golf course. Isn't that under the city?
It's property owned by the city, but it's located under corporate Huerfano County.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeter,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Commissioners, next I have for you an arbitrage consulting services agreement between the county and Elmhurst Public Finance Advisors. This is for the Judicial Center bonds. This is I'm gonna try to explain this. It's a report that has to be done for tax purposes for the bond holders. And it's required within the first 5 years of the bonds being issued. So this is I think this is a one-time thing, but ours was the only company I could find that could do this. The total amount for this is $2,500.
Motion to approve the consultant services for Huerfano County through Elmhurst Public Financial Advisors.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. D, would you please mute yourself? Thank you. Just a note, this is required to comply with the Securities Exchange Commission as well. Yes. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeter,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have an agreement, an extension for a personal service agreement between the county and Northern Securities Incorporated. This is for 2 services, the county property asset corporation evaluation, advice on how to utilize that, and on the Fox Theater business plan that's required for the GOCO grant. This is an agreement that has been in place since, I want to say, late 2022. So we've extended this a number of times. The amount hasn't changed. We also have not, to my knowledge, been billed for this yet.
Motion to approve the professional service agreement between the Huerfano County and the Northland Security, Inc.
I'd second that.
I have a motion and a second discussion. Could I ask you to consider adding not to exceed $10,000?
Not to exceed $10,000.
Accept that.
I agree with that.
Thank you. And this is part of our match for the grant on Buck Cedar, correct?
Yeah, that's my understanding. GOCO did that grant very interestingly when they awarded to us. So they're only reimbursing us for construction activities, but we have to sort of give them everything. That makes sense.
Okay. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have a letter to the Southern Colorado RETAC. This is to change the board members for La Vida, updating it to add Malia Smith, if I got her name correctly,
Mhm.
as an alternate. Dave Mao was already on there for them. They just want to update their board members.
Make a motion to accept the changes in the RETAC for Levita.
Second.
I have a motion and a second discussion of questions. So Matthew Whitley is the director from the hospital. I just want to make sure that we have SPRHC represented as well as Levita. So I'd like to see the agency that these individuals are coming from for the representation. Does that make sense? Because I'd like to see, just want to make sure that we have Levita and the hospital district both.
Yeah, that makes sense. Who I don't know are those middle three. So I'll check with Brittany on that. I think she'll have those names for me, and I want to update this before we send it out. I want to bring it back to you.
I would like.
I think they're employees of the hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, just so that we have clarity on who's representing. And then we could sign it if you're okay with, if you guys are okay with that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. To verify that would be great.
Sure. The first two are Walsenburg, the last two are Levita, and the middle looks to me to be employees of the hospital, but you can clarify that.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. And I'll set it, make sure I get my notes in.
This PRHC ambulance license.
Yes. So the next one I have for you is a request from the hospital to extend the ambulance license, which currently expires April 27th to June 30th. Reason being that they have to apply to the state for an ambulance license. And in order to apply to the state, they need a current ambulance license that expires June 30th. Or after.
Motion to approve the Spanish Beach Regional Health Center EMS ambulance license extension request.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. I would ask if you could get the legislation just to make sure that we're not going to be get that and make sure that we're not required to license ambulances in the future. I'd really like to see that.
Okay. From the workshops I've attended, I don't think we're required. It's optional. But I'll double check it and I'll get you that information as well.
Okay, thank you. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Commissioners, next I have for you, it's put into the wrong order here. Oh, great. All right, so I did this wrong. All right, commissioners, this is our public building electrification grant. We were awarded this grant from the Colorado Energy Office. I did not realize that I had a typo in here and put in the lettering to sign twice. Give me 1 second. Hope that memo. So I can give you the right information. The commission, this is a request to accept the award of the Call Energy Office Public Building Rectification Grant in the amount of $720,750. This grant requires a 25% match of $240,250 for a total project cost of $961,000. This grant will, one, replace the gas heat evaporator cooling unit on the Fox with a new heat pump heating direct cooling system. Two, replace the existing gas-fired boiler and baseboard heaters at 129 Kansas with a new variable rate refrigerant flow system. And three, replace the existing gas-fired domestic hot water heater at 129 Kansas with a new heat pump hot water heater. Match for these grants will come from the already awarded DOLA Energy Impact Grants for both 129 Kansas and the Fox. And I'm going to share my screen real quick so I can show you this table. So commissioners, just so you know how this adds to the capital stack for both of those projects. A total project cost for, it's still small right there, isn't it? Let's try that. Is that readable? Better.
Yeah.
Okay, the total project cost for 129 Kansas, the EOC dispatch is $4,893,000. $3,669,750 comes from DOLA Energy Impact. Another $591,750 comes from this grant. So the total match remaining, the total county funds that we'd have to spend would be $631,500. For the Fox Theater, $2 million ish project, about 1.5 comes from DOLA, and 129 comes from the Colorado Energy Office, leaving a total for the county of $401,352. We're not done building the capital stack on the Fox yet. We're going after at least one more grant, and the Fox is going after a bunch of little grants as well. So that one we still have, I think we can knock off at least half of that remaining amount. EOC Kansas, I need to confer with McKinstry again, but I think that is the complete capital stack for that one.
And that 600,000, part of that is from the American Rescue Plan? Or is that all fund balance from the 1 cent sales tax, the emergency services sales tax?
Yeah, it's all sitting in special projects, but yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
What's your pleasure?
Make a motion to accept the public building electrification grant award acceptance.
Second.
Have a motion, a second, discussion? Thank you for putting this together, Carl and Robert, appreciate you.
Mhm.
Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Odetta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have your request to approve an application to the Department of Interior Bureau of Reclamation Water Smart Small Scale Water Efficiency Projects Grant in the amount of $45,000 with another $45,000 match required from the county. If awarded, this grant will fund the addition of advanced metering infrastructure, telemetry, and a supervisory control and data acquisition automation system, SCADA, which will enable the county to operate and monitor critical components of the Gardner GPID system remotely. That include the wells, tank levels, and meter reading. This will improve service quality and reliability for system users. Notification of award is expected in May 2024. I don't expect this project to be when we tackle in this year. I think this is a 2025 budget issue. Our 2025 project, we budget for it in the 2025 budget. I attempted to put that in the memo, but failed and put 2024 where I meant to put 2025. So.
Motion to approve the application to the Bureau of Reclamation Water Smart Small Scale Water Efficiency Program in the amount of $45,000 with another $45,000 in county matching funds.
Could I have just a little bit of discussion on that before I vote?
Do you want to second that before we have a discussion?
Depends.
I will second that for discussion.
I was just wondering if there had been a cost basis analysis. I mean, 45,000 is a lot of money, on whether we would be able to do the same for less with just physical monitoring of those said wells and everything.
So there's not really a cost comparison plan there. And what this really covers is things that help the system run better. So right now, we found out what our standard procedure find out there's a water leak, or that the well has tripped and is no longer pumping, or that the well should have stopped but did not stop, is someone in Gardner calls us. So usually they'll call dispatch first and or Chris, and then they'll call John, and then John will call me, and I'll call Chris, and he's already up there not answering his phone already because it doesn't have service. But we don't have a way of watching those wells constantly. So it's sort of rough to find out that, oh, the well should have turned on and it didn't, and we find that out because the tank is completely drained, or we find out that there's a leak because the tank is completely drained and no one has water anymore.
Then you're spending all those funds in an emergency situation to try to figure out what's going on.
Yep. Okay. Excellent explanation. I would vote yes on that.
Okay, yeah, and so for additional discussion, I would just say that this really puts us on par with like San Isabel Electric, where whoever our water operator is can be walking around, and the notification that we have a fault up there in a well, or the tank is draining or whatever, can go right to his phone on his hip or in his pocket, and we don't have to wait and have 67 people out of water. So I think this is even though I agree with you, it seems like a lot of money. I think it's a really good move for the public benefit of Gardner. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Jetta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you a request for award on solicitation number 23-10, the Benito Rancho on the River Agricultural Operations. This RFQ was issued on November 8th, 2023, and sought qualified and experienced agricultural operators to lease, manage, and maintain Benito Rancho on the River. The committee was comprised of county staff, and I request you approve the award as recommended to Jared Coulter and open negotiations for a final lease agreement.
Make a motion to approve the award for the Benito Ranch on the River Agricultural Operations RFP 2023-10 to Jared Coulter.
I second that.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Jetta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. So there was a comment in there from Cindy about the one notification system, so the wells don't run dry. This is that system, what exists for it, essentially. The telemetry by itself is about 45,000. Commissioners, next I have for you a purchase order and quote for renewing our Google Workspace business licenses. Myself and Anthony reviewed the accounts and the usage, and we limited enough accounts to bring our usage cap from 125 to 100, saving another $3,579.25 per year. The cost per user is $143.17. So for 100 users, the total cost for this is it's $14,317.
I would make a motion to approve purchase order number 205 in the amount of $14,317 for the statewide internet portal.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. What are the alternatives to Google workspace.
So there are two primary alternatives that I can think of. Alternative one is Microsoft. Alternative two is a system that we used to have where we essentially ran our own email server.
And that's cheaper, but what's the disadvantage?
So one, in running your own email server, if you don't have access to the internet, you don't have access to your email. So if email, for everything the county lost internet access, we wouldn't be able to send emails anymore. We also couldn't do things like have Google Meet or share share documents in Google Workspace or anything like that. So at the time, we ended up having a lot of free residential Google accounts that were used. And that's what they use for county business.
Can you can you stop this program? And apologize, everyone, but we will start over.
No, you're gone.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh,
Where's my social control? Share. Okay. I want to talk to Google about that. It used to be a little bit easier.
so we have solved the problem. We don't have to totally reboot.
No, it doesn't happen again. There should be another control I should be able to add here. Okay. Now we can turn on the video.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Can we have the vote, please? Please call for the vote.
Commissioner Spluter,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Glusher.
Yes,
Motion passes.
and I apologize to everyone about that. Hopefully we can avoid that in the future. Next item.
More challenging because we got rid of Zoom.
Well, the way Zoom recommends to handle this is to pay for their webinar feature.
But you can block them immediately and they can't re-enter.
Yeah, that's what we've done here.
Okay.
All right.
Judicial Center grant purchase order.
All right, Commissioners, next I have for you the judicial grant purchase order in the total amount of $111,937.67. We're recording, but we don't have the, there we go, and the camera. There we go.
Make a motion for the Judicial Center security grant.
So I think, Carl, what we want to do is wait until we have the executed contract from underfunded courts to Colorado.
Make a motion to table this until we have the proper documentation so we can proceed.
So we got two motions on the floor right now.
I just didn't second it, so I thought it died.
Yeah, so the first motion died for like a second. Do I have a second for the motion to table?
I make that motion.
You need to make a second.
Okay. Motion and a second. And Sam can sort that out. Call the vote, please.
Commissioner Spooner,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Glusher.
Yes.
Motion. All right. Commissioners, next I have for you a contract for services agreement for a youth and adult sports coordinator contractor. This is between the county and Selena Valdez. The total amount is $17 per hour. And it would commence on the 7th day of January 2024 through the 17th day of February 2024. This is to help with youth basketball practices and games, Monday night adult leagues, and assisting the park director with facility cleaning as requested.
Motion to approve the contract for service agreement for youth and adult sport coordinator contract for Selena what's her?
Valdez.
Valdez, expiring on February 17th, 2024.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Guerra,
Yes.
Chairman Glucci.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Vendor run.
And Commissioners, next I have for you the January 2024 vendor run. Total amount of the vendor run is this was yesterday.
$380,116.54.
Make a motion to accept the vendor run for 380,000 and change.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Guerra,
Yes.
Chairman Glucci.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Commissioners, last I have for you a letter to the mayor and city council of the city of Walsenburg on the law enforcement services agreement extension. This letter essentially confirms our discussion in the meeting we had last Friday with the city. By we, I mean Commissioner Galusha, myself, Robert, and Sheriff Newman met with Mayor Vazani, Councilmember Mays, and City Administrator Sharon Waltz.
I would just say that, so what this does is it gives a 6-month extension to the agreement that expired December 31st with a 14% increase, which I don't know what that equates to.
The dollar amount for the increase is, the new amount would be $67,816 per month.
It's about $8,000 per month increase, I believe.
Yeah.
And this gives us time. So this says that the two commissioners agree with the negotiations that we had and asks the city to prepare the addendum to the agreement. So we'll take formal action on this once city council has agreed that they're going to pay us.
Make a motion to approve the law enforcement service agreement extension in the amount of $67,816 per month from December 31st, after the expiration of the December 31st, 2023, for 6 months of 2024.
Second that.
I have a motion. Second discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Guerra,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Any other action?
That is into action items.
Correspondence, please.
Commissioners, first in correspondence, I have a Christmas card from AdPro, a Christmas card from CTSI. I have technical update on 2024 Colorado pay calc, FLSA, and comps. I have a CTSI technical update on cap insurance and its role in public officials' risk mitigation. And a technical update on FSAs, HRAs, and HSAs updated. Then I have your GPID bulk water volume report. I have your December 2023 expense report. This is preliminary, preliminary and unbalanced, but this is all the expenses that are captured in CIC. Then I have your GPID billing register. And then your GPID system totals report. And then I have your, next I have your leave balance report. The hospital's 2024 special transparency notice. notice from the Fundamental District that Dave Rogers has resigned. Then I have a letter from J.C. Copeland on Miracle Charles Inn. Then I have your McKinstry 2023 summary report. We really got this for the audit so that we can manage the so we can report to the auditor sort of where our CIP is in progress and what's between this year and last year and how this project is completed. But it's also a great update for you as far as where we are in the project and what has to be done. Then I have the transparency notice for the Navajo Western Water District. A resignation letter from Rick Dunn, who's resigning from the Huerfano County Building Authority. And lastly, a resignation letter from Sandy White, who's resigning from the Huerfano County Planning Commission. Once you finish adopting the revisions to Section 7.
Can I ask you, with the concurrence of the commissioners, to prepare letters thanking Dave Rogers, Rick Dunn, and Sandy White for their service to the community on behalf of Huerfano County?
Absolutely.
Questions, comments from the commissioners? All right, staff reports. County Administrator.
All right. So commissioners, just so you know that during that cold snap we had a couple weeks ago, we did constructing operations from 4 p.m. on Saturday through 8 a.m. on Tuesday, January 16th. Initially, those were at the Huerfano County Community Center. But because we only had one person, we decided to go ahead and put him in a hotel room that's in practice for incidents that don't have a lot of people. But we were expecting more. We did finish certifying the mill levy, and John, I have to have you sign that certification. The marijuana ordinance was published on second reading on January 4th. It won't be effective on February 4th. That'll be posted to the county website later this week. I've attached my communication to county staff on the personnel changes. That's a follow-up from our November 30th fall staff meeting. And then as far as the procurement update, we have one solicitation open. That's RFQ 23-12 for county attorney. That closed on February 2nd. And RFP 20-11 for West Trail Station operator closed on Friday with one submission and one request for consideration, which the request for consideration came to me today as well. So, and lastly, I put it in a list of current board vacancies, one on the Federal Government District Board, 2 on the Board of Adjustment, 2 on the Board of Review, 3 on the County Building Authority Board, and 2 on the Planning Commission. That 2 on the Planning Commission does include Sandy, but it does not include any alternates you wish to add or things like that. The Tourism Board also has 2 vacancies, but generally speaking, we don't like to fill those. So off those off. And then Robert has an update for you on the RTEP program.
Good morning, commissioners and the public. The RTAP Steering Committee has submitted the community self-assessment as of Monday, January 22nd, 2024. For the public, RTAP stands for Rural Technical Assistance Program. The following areas in no particular order were identified as key priorities for the CU Boulder students to review: recreation infrastructure development, recreation economy support and ancillary services, diversity, equity, and inclusion, downtown revitalization and placemaking, local regional promotion and branding. The CU Boulder's Masters of the Environment students, that's a team of 4 that I met with yesterday. They have established a standing weekly meeting with myself. One is actually from Alamosa, so there is some regional representation in our area from these students as well. Steering Committee is meeting this week with these goals to create a concise community survey centered on the above priorities. We will also be scheduling small-scale community workshops in February for Kuchara, Gardner, Levita, and Walsenburg to work through this survey. This is leading to a county-wide community workshop in early March. As a reminder, the RTAP program is at no direct cost to Huerfano County. The CU Boulder students will ultimately deliver a 12 to 24-month community action plan at the end of the spring 2024 semester, which will detail steps to promote outdoor recreation in and out of town, foster supporting economic development opportunities, bolster community collaboration in our region, and identify potential permanent funding streams to maintain these efforts. Any questions?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else from county administrators reports? County attorney?
Good morning, commissioners. We did have the assessors appeal with the BAA last week. It went well. They had one thing that they weren't particularly happy with, but it was a very, very small amount. And so I'm not particularly worried that they're gonna do anything drastic. I think we'll get a good result there, like we did on the last one. And I think that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Is there a need for executive session?
I think we have another item to discuss, which is a DHS office manager.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yep, I would love to make a motion to approve the DHS office manager pending the proper drug test and paperwork, but for the purpose of speeding along the start date, because we will not meet for the next few weeks. And that would be to award to Dia Weller in the event that her affairs are all in order. And the potential start date could be as early as Wednesday of next week.
Second that.
Yep, Dia, D-E-A-H, Weller, W-E-L-L-E-R. And that would be for DHS office manager.
Now a motion and a second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Anajatta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, now I'll go back to the executive session. There's no need. Is there anything else for the good of the order? We have a 1 p.m. workshop with the U.S. Forest Service and the Colorado State Forest Service regarding Blue and Bear Lakes at 1 p.m. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And again, I apologize for the interruption.
Thank you.
And we're going to be able to make sure that doesn't happen again, right?